Welcome to He Said, She Said in relationshiping in every aspect of your life. I am your master coach, Michelle Hoffman, and today I've got some people coming in. We might have somebody else coming in as well. And I would like to raise whatever topics that you are approaching that you would like to improve in your life, as far as what relationships in your life would you like to up level. Charlie was just telling me about upcycling clothing. So she's like taking the pair of jeans that she's got right now and she's transforming it into something new and innovative and current and exciting. And that's a gift. That is truly a gift. So now I'm doing something similar because I want to help you upcycle all of the relationships in your life. Would that be a good metaphor, Charlie?
Yeah, that's fine.
I found a way to tie it in. Thank you for teaching me something new. So I'm going to put the floor out to you, and I can play both parts and invite you in to be he said and or she said as you see appropriate, because I don't have my co-master coach, Sean Coe, tonight. Playing the part of he said, although sometimes I play it out like this, because it's remarkable how sometimes we can finish each other's sentences and know what the other was about to say. So I am your entertainment for the next 50 minutes. So Charlie or Stephen, what's going on with either of you? Who would like to step up to the hot seat and talk about what's going on?
I'll let Charlie go first if she wants to speak.
Okay. I mean, this is my first this in particular, so I'm not absolutely sure.
Whatever you do is perfect. Whatever you do is perfect.
So I'm sorry. Okay, so what type of I'm a little confused, like what type of topics are we entertaining at this moment?
Oh, I love this.
Are you? I'll ask. I'll ask and just see. Are you talking about like initial problems in our relationship that we're going through currently?
So here's the way that I'll start with a little bit of big picture. So I am a life coach, and my clients have pivoted me to specialize as a relationship coach, because every single thing that we do, see, feel, interact with, from my perspective, I always take it from the perspective of relationships. Relationshiping with yourself, your inner voice, with money, with your career, with your skills and talents, with your physical self, with your family, your house, your cars, your relationship with money, your relationship with your community, your relationship with your the way that your brain makes decisions in a healthy way, or maybe you make decisions through your heart with your emotions, or your gut using your instinct, or with your physical self of what will be the best interest there. So in my definition, relationshiping is with anything whatsoever. And it could be whatever if there's an obstacle or a challenge, you're like, I've been trying to do this on my own and it's not working out as fast as I would like it to be. So I'm going to pause there. And if you need more, I could go on for months. So I'm just going to give you a chance to speak.
I have a small thing. I have something small if you need it.
All right, bring me something
if you want
small.
Me to go first. Okay, so I am currently going through issues with my relationship with my fiance. I just got laid off from my job, so I have a lot of time on my hands, unfortunately. And I'm finding it hard to not text her, and it's gotten to the point where she's upset that she calls it me blowing up her phone, which I guess it would be. I would call it the same thing if it happened to me. but I'm
Right.
finding it difficult to have that separation and not feel anxiety in the process.
Right. Okay. Um,
Also, she's an EMT, so when she works, she's on 24-hour shifts,
great.
and she's picking up more shifts to cover what I've lost.
So she's working harder. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think I have a pretty clear picture of not only what's going on here, but what could be happening and how we can adjust this so that your relationship becomes stronger and more secure as opposed to out of balance. So I'm super, super glad you're here. This is a really important and valuable topic to bring up. Here's how, oh, let me ask you this way. Would you like me to listen, guide, or help?
I would say guide.
Okay. I think that's the right way to go as well. So, and just to differentiate, when somebody wants me to listen, I'll create a safe space so that you can talk things through and different options out on your own. And then what
Oh,
happens?
I have a counselor for that and
Okay.
friends that have been listening. So
That's awesome.
guidance is probably this better option anyways.
Right. So, but what happens with a counselor, more often than not, they will, ask you questions or prompts so that you can get to this position, the position where you can discover your answer yourself. This should take a lot less time. It'll be much faster. And friends come to you with the best that they have, but they are not in your shoes and they can't understand the whole picture. So as well-meaning as they could be, sometimes they've got their own prejudices, devices, whatever perspective that may not see the whole picture. So, and I will give you options and things and suggestions. You, of course, will make the right decision for you. When I offer help, I usually will actually get involved. So people are usually pushed much harder for the process before they go, help, I need you to actually step in. So awesome. I think you picked a good one. Here's what I see happening. You have fallen in love with someone. Can I call her by name or just fiance is fine?
Yeah, her name's Allison. We've been together for 3 years. We even have a kid together.
Awesome.
He's 2.5 years older.
Oh my God. That's so great. 3-year-old kids, something magical is going to happen. I know I've been talking about this recently. So let me just tell you, and I totally want you to tell me, or I'll take a video of it when it happens, like 3 to 4-year-old kids. So it's going to happen in the next 6 months to a year.
Mhm.
Did you say son or daughter?
Son.
Your son will literally jump on the equivalent of the coffee table in the living room and be like, I love everything. I love my dad. I love my mom. I love my chair. I love my dog. I love my lamp. I love myself. I love my hair. And you're like, can we please bottle that up for you and use it when you're a teenager?
Yeah.
So totally, if you get an inkling that it is that day, get the video camera out because you're going to need it later.
Okay.
Okay, so now let's get to you. Okay, so you have found a really good partner for you. The two of you share a child together. It sounds like you're very happy with one another, and actually you're bonded enough that when you're feeling unsure or insecure, you know that she's a safe place to reach out to. This is a fan.
I have to change that. We're not.
No, I'm going to say no, you don't. You have
okay.
the frequency of that. Granted, I'm going to speak my mind. You do what's right for you, but no, you don't have to change the fact that when you're feeling out of balance, that you can reach your partner for security and stability. That's an amazingly wonderful thing.
Oh, okay.
And does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying now. Instead of not specifically what she's doing, but in general.
Right. So we're going general here.
Right.
So now what has happened to you is that you were participating in providing for the household, you had an identity through your career, and you got laid off. This, right?
Right.
So this is now changing the way that it's changing everything. It was
Mhm.
not a decision that you made. It was a decision that was made for you that changed every other thing in your life, your income, how much she needs to work, your identity, your daily routine. There's a lot that changes as a result of that. Traditionally, correct?
Right.
Somebody gets laid off, changes jobs. My response is, congratulations. I can't wait to see what happens next. And you're like, there's so much uncertainty. So the first thing I did was I gave you some certainty to choose. Would you like listen, guide, or help? So how do you get control in an out of control situation? You get control over one thing at a time.
Mhm.
First of all, let's talk about anxiety. So what kind of tools do you have in place when you're feeling anxious?
None. I've never felt anxiety before.
Okay. Do you know why you're feeling anxious?
Because I've learned that there is a guy at her work that she has feelings for, and that he has feelings for her. And although she says that our relationship will not, our relationship can be fixed, it's I still have the anxiety of, is she going to really attempt to fix it, or is she dragging me along while she works out something with him or waits for him to finish divorcing his wife?
Okay. Now I understand what's really going on. Is this what's really going on? It's not that you got laid off and that you're texting her too much.
Um, that was originally the issue. The only,
Couldn't have been.
I
If she was totally digging you, she would let her phone burn off the hook. She'd be like, every time it dings, I kind of get a little hot. So we need to connect with you, restabilize you, and be so attractive to her that that guy who's still married is not even somebody to consider. And her working more means she's spending more time with him with the excuse of bringing more money because you're not. So
Right.
all of this is becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. And it sounds like you're interested in turning the tide.
I would like to, or to be more comfortable with the fact that it's over.
Okay.
I have always promised her that I would never take her son from her. But with the way that I see that she's treating me and the way that she is acting now that she is working more, I don't feel his best interest is with her.
Okay. So now this question, again, this was not a little question. This is a should I stay or should I go question.
Mhm.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very relevant question. All right. So here's what I'd like to do. Let's do a little exercise together, okay? Because what I'd like to do is give you perspective about just you. We're only going to think of you for a little bit. Okay?
Right.
Don't think about anything else. What I want to know is what kind of roles or identity did you used to hold? And the roles or identity would be at some point you were a son. Did you have a brother?
I do have a brother, but
You-
he's a stepbrother.
Okay, so siblings. You were a son, you were a sibling. I want to know what kind of identity or role you used to have. You were a student.
Oh, I was a stepson. My dad and my mom split when I was 1.
Okay.
My parents have just, my stepdad and my mom have just recently split, and she's married someone else.
Okay. So you need
Uh,
role models in how to
Yeah,
stay in a relationship.
I have none,
Right. Got that.
and she has none as well in her life.
Okay. I'm a good role model for a lot of people, just so you know, that's one of my roles. Okay, but
Right.
let's keep going on roles you used to hold. You were a son, you had siblings, you were a student, you were a stepson. What kind of sports were you into? What kind of craft were you into, or imaginative stuff? What were you into as a kid?
Um, I like to play with Legos a lot. I didn't really play sports because I was diagnosed with asthma when that was the diagnosis. I was diagnosed with ADHD. Don't really feel like I actually had that, to be honest with you.
I don't either, but
I
sure.
Yeah, it was during the time when everyone was diagnosed with it because they fidgeted too much in school.
Well, you might have been an
Reese,
aesthetic learner.
yeah. Um, Trying to think. I worked a lot.
What did you do for
Uh,
work? So you were an employee.
I've done a bunch of jobs.
Give
I was a
me an
server,
industry, a genre. Server.
retail, uh, like like Lowe's and Sherwin-Williams and things like that.
Yep. So this is
Um,
a customer facing position. So it means
mhm.
you know how to interact with people. No matter who comes your way, you're happy to help. That's
Right.
a real skill. It's a good
I
skill.
was recently I had a job that I was extremely unhappy with. I was a health physicist. The reason that I was unhappy with it is because in order to get to that place that I worked, I had to drive almost an hour and a half every day. And the days were 10-hour shifts, Monday through Thursday. So I would lose a lot of my free time doing it. We moved to Virginia for another job. I interned doing that job. I moved to Virginia for another job. It was test engineering. And I hated it because it was the only place I'd ever felt like I was working. My hands were tied behind my back with duct tape over my mouth. So I wasn't allowed to touch anything. And when I said something was wrong and needed to be fixed, we had to get approval from another site, another government site, to tell us that that is even allowed, even though we know it's wrong. And then I moved back here to the same job I was interning, but I had a regular position, and I hated it. And I fell into playing games. I started ignoring the kids, ignoring Allison more. Her biggest complaint is that I would never text her first to tell her good morning, and I would never ask her how her day was.
Okay. So you know the story, right? You know what has happened here.
Right.
Okay. I'm just confirming that. All right, let's continue on with the exercise that we've got going on. This is very valuable.
Mhm.
What roles do you play now? What is your identity right now? Oh, wait, and father is now.
Oh yeah.
Father, fiance,
Um,
caretaker for your son?
yes. The other two are with their grandparents for the summer. She has two from a previous marriage as well.
Okay. Father, fiance, caretaker.
Mhm.
Anything else? What are you doing for fun, hobby? Distraction?
Nothing at the moment.
No diversion, no fun.
This is the first time I've attempted it. To be honest with you, I'm looking. Let me find his name real quick. I was reading some stuff by Dan Bacon, and he mentioned this site that would bring me to you. And he was
Oh, meetup or something more specific?
the meetup.com. He mentioned the site, and I
Great.
just looked through the site.
Great. I'm glad you're here.
And
I
then
think you're
another.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. And then another suggestion is he said to do dancing so that you're distracted and you have fun. So I'm going to go. I've been calling places to find out when they're doing beginners dancing lessons.
You know why I think you should go dancing? Because I think you're a kinesthetic learner. You know what that means? That you learn when you're moving. That's why you were fidgeting. You
Right.
weren't playing sports because of asthma. You had no, the energy was there and there was no outlet.
Right.
That's my instinct. Do you think that might be right?
To an extent, yes. I think I learned math because I'm moving my hand constantly.
You're a kinesthetic
I
learner.
guess.
So I'm going to give you a sec. Do whatever you need to do.
My son's just running back and forth. I'm trying to make sure he's not too loud.
I'm a parent. I get it. Okay, so here's something else. You do not need to wait for an organized dance thing. Pump up the volume. Bonk, bonk, pump up the volume. You should hear the music in this office before. I think it might have still been going before Charlie came on. Pump up the volume of the music and start dancing now. Do you like dancing?
I don't know. I've never really tried. Never had time.
Right. So it doesn't have to be organized. You're a mathematician. You can count to 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's counting to 8 4 times, then the music changes. So I've just told you basically every song. Some of them play with that, but the general syncopation is 4 counts of 8 and then something changes. With that information as a logical mathematician and a science-based guy, just start tapping and start snapping. That in and of itself is going to start changing things for you because your body needs to be integrated into what's going on as a kinesthetic learner. And I realize I've just reached back to a whole bunch of stuff and made a whole bunch of assumptions. Just try it, see how it feels. Text me, I want to know.
Okay.
Okay, so Dan Bacon is suggesting meetup, and I'm glad you found me. Dancing, also good. What else? Who else are you right now? I want to know about.
Sorry, Allison called and it muted you.
Oh, that's okay. Do you want to connect with her? Okay, so we're going to give Stephen a pause. Charlie, now you see a little bit about how this could work. With that, let's talk about you. Oh, is he coming back? Are you back?
Sorry, Allison was calling and it would mute you every time she tried to call.
Okay, that's fine. I was giving you the grace to go connect with her if you wanted.
Oh, okay. If Candace, sorry,
Charlie.
Charlie.
Do you want to talk? Do you want to turn? Okay.
Sure.
All
I'll go call her and be right back.
So now you have an idea of what to expect. It could be anything, but this time it's all about you. What's going on with you?
That was loaded. I don't even. Jesus. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to like recalibrate from all that because my mind just gets tunnel vision trying to problem solve for other people because I honestly want to become a life coach myself, but I'm a long way away from that. A long way. So just watching how you operate in that situation.
How'd I do?
You were pretty awesome because it was loaded. So that's pretty dope. You did You did way better than I did.
Well, thank you. I'm sure that with the life experience that you have, you've got something to contribute as well. And just like you said, your mind was already positioning, how can I help him? That is a servant's heart, and that is about as generous a love as you could possibly share with another human being or any creature.
Now that's
So-
my problem that I want to bring to the table today.
I got you there. Let's talk
Go.
about it. Wait, I wanted to make a note that your mind has tunnel vision. Okay. I'm yours. Now you talk.
So, I am in a brand new relationship. I think we're about 4 months in at this time, but I've been knowing my partner since high school, and I just turned 34 on Tuesday. So it's been a while, and we just started dating, and we both got some quirks that kind of clash from time to time, and we were going to group therapy and individual therapy. And then I decided right on my birthday that I needed to find another clinician because I believe she was starting to like murk the waters between us. So unbeknownst to her, or I don't really know, she was kind of transferring loose information from individual sessions, which was confusing us. And I just felt like stepping away from that. And since I did, I've been trying to kind of self-motivate and figure out how to be my own life coach and get myself on a schedule and get my own stuff together because I've been through a lot. And with that being the case, my partner, we have two different types of motivation. I'm super intrinsic and I will get myself up and going. And he's super extrinsic. He needs somebody to kind of light the fire under his buns and keep him going. And I realized that throughout our relationship, I have been that for him to the extent of I really haven't been focusing on myself as much.
You figured it out.
And so trying to find balance and create boundaries between the two of us so that I can finally like, okay, I know I want to get this done for myself, but then I feel guilty because he also wants to do those things, but it's harder to get him to come around to it. So I feel like we're gonna run into conflict because I'm no longer available to do all the things that I was doing for him prior. And I feel like that's gonna cause a rift in our relationship. And I don't really want to do that. However, I feel like it's a wake-up call that we both need. So in this situation, I think I need a combo of like help and guidance because I'm unsure what to do from this situation forward.
Okay, so just so you know, help means I'm actually going to get involved.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we'll see how that one is going to be, how that will work the best. We'll see how that works. I'm here to help in any way. So, okay, let me explain from chemistry to casual to committed to you, because the two of you have known each other for a very long time. That way, I mean, what's really beautiful about that is having a similar culture, being from the same location. There's an assumption of how traditions and ceremonies and things work. If if you're coming from the same, it's the same community. There's expected guidelines in a tribe. So the fact that you have all of those things already established pushes the relationship part in some ways from chemistry to casual, like automatically. So, I'm going to say it, and let me describe what these three phases are. They are not clear, clean-cut phases, as you are about to learn. During the chemistry phase, this is the discovery phase. This is when everything is new and exciting. And it's like literally what happens in your body is your serotonin is going up, your endorphins are all hot. Excuse me. You literally, sorry, the chemistry changes. And as a result, it's very exciting. It's very exciting. And in this phase, you look at what is right about everything in this situation and this person. Now, I don't know what your relationship, friendship, acknowledgement of each other was at school. But at some point, you guys got together in a more intimate way. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. That happens to me sometimes.
Totally understand. I have cats. So
It's your cats. No, I'm good.
probably actually.
No, I love cats. I would endure it anyway because I love them. So from chemistry, you move into the casual phase. The casual phase is literally when you can look forward to anticipate something that you know you're going to enjoy. So the two of you were like kind of, had connecting rings on this because knowing one another from your past establishes identity, security. You can confirm, he is who he says he is. There's all kinds of comforting things that you can look forward to taking advantage of in a relationship with somebody who you've known for a long time, or even peripherally, if not more closely. So at some point, you guys shifted things up and you were like, I see you in a different way. And you smell differently, and I like it. We should be dating. So that throws you into the chemistry phase, this new phase again, where it's like, ooh, this is very exciting. It's also very new, and I'm enjoying this. Yeah, everything is right. This is good, good, good. And then you start dating. You've been dating for 4 months, and in this time frame, and this is about a natural progression right here at a 4-month point, where suddenly you're like, here's what, there's so much that I do like. That's why we're here. But then there's also things that might be a deal breaker and things that are not right. So you're at the casual phase in the relationship. I don't know from what you've said, if he's still in chemistry or if he's pushing into casual in this relationship. In some ways, it feels like he pushed it into casual straight up, and he was expecting you to light the spark on a regular basis. Both of you need to be lighting the spark for the fire to be, in an infinity sign. So we'll figure that out in just a minute. So now what you're deciding is this a relationship? You're also in a should I stay or should I go mode. Is that right?
Unfortunately, my mind is kind of there, but realistically, I don't have that option because we just signed a lease together and we're a month into this. However, we have separate living spaces, so we're practicing having boundaries while also living with each other, and then also trying to kind of build an interdependency where you're still building yourself up as an individual. He's going into therapy on his own and doing his own thing, and I'm doing the same, but then we can show up for each other in the relationship as, fully developed adults. Because I hear what you're saying about casual chemistry, like that is like to the wayside for us because our relationship is completely chaotic. Okay. Like I would have never thought 2 years ago that I'd be dating this person because we were friends when we were younger. We didn't go to school together, but we just knew each other during that age. And so now in our 30s, we're trying to make something work. And it's the fact that we did come from 2 different places in the same city, because he's Caucasian and we both came from the country, and back then they couldn't really do something like this. So we're still trying to untangle some of that history of like, this isn't appropriate to say, this isn't appropriate to do. So beyond that, we're just trying to learn how to be individual people autonomously celebrating a relationship together. It's crazy.
So
that makes sense.
yeah, no, I got you. It's so interesting to me because you're so in your head about it. And a lot of times that is just fascinating to me of like, here's what works, here's what doesn't work. What are the logistics? You know, who's going to have a separate space? Who's not? What's different about us? So initially you were like, what's the same about us? This is awesome. And then suddenly, no matter how good the relationship with you between yourselves are, there are external factors that you're allowing to influence what's going on. So what I would suggest is this, and I'm trying to think of the best way to present this to you, but it's, are you guys relationship ready? Both of you, either of you, each of you, because it's interesting to hear your conversations and what you're saying. And I'm going to give you some high level stuff because and I am not trying to sell this to you right now, just so you know.
Okay.
I retitled, okay, like, I don't know how fast I can do this. A little bit about me, really fast. I had a really illustrious corporate career. I was a portfolio manager. I worked as an executive in a medical publishing company, and I was a social scientist at Stanford. Then my amazing, sweet husband, who I had an incredibly loving relationship, got cancer and died. His last words were, "I love you." It was a good and healthy relationship. This is my fast forward speed on this one. But I no longer get to have him as an option. What I did at that point, because I got these two kids, is like, what am I going to do now? So I literally put together the guide of how to rebuild your life after obstacles and traumatic events and big life changes, or getting laid off from work, or moving across the country, or losing your vision, or having difficulty physically, or getting into a situation where you have conflict that has nothing to do with anything except that he's Caucasian. And I'm going to guess, based on your beautiful picture here, you're not as pale skinned. So,
No, I'm African American all the way. I mean,
right.
those things don't really matter in the scheme of things. It's just how we do things that has made conflict in the house currently.
Right. So this is the casual phase where you have to be like, we need to work these things out to get to committed. And that's what you're doing right here. You're right on schedule, actually. So here are some of the things where I'm just going to pull my list out of my modules so you can write them down or hear them. I won't. Oh, so here's my story again. So I wrote a book on here, and I'm happy to send you a copy of this, Life Worth Living, a Practical and Compassionate Guide. And this book was written specifically to, it's not the actual book, but it was written as a love letter to a friend of mine who had become widowed, and I helped her through it. And so now, people come to me. That's how I started becoming a life coach, to answer that question that you were intrinsically asking, is because I wrote an international bestseller. I've actually written 2, but then people come to me and go, "Can you help me through it?" And I say, yes, if I know that I can, beyond a shadow of a doubt, get them from Pain Island to Pleasure Island. And if not, I give them all the love I can and all of anything I possibly can to help them, and or refer them to someone who I think can help them. Here's what I think you need to look at. And I'm just going to give you these topics as a gift. And if I can help you further with them, then let me know. So 1, I think you should clarify. One, get yourself out of, sort of the muck that you're in, because you're tired, you've been working. You're nervous about your body not being everything that you want it to be. I'm talking about your vision because you brought it up. So get yourself to a place where you're feeling safe and secure. And that could be through listen, guide, or help. 2, we need a very clear roadmap for you. And to define that, we need to figure out, what is your dream come true? And right now, I'm not sure that this relationship is your dream come true. My wildest guess is going to be slightly off because I don't have enough information. But if you want me to go for it, you would like to know what your career trajectory could be that would support you in a way that you can do and be everything that you want to do and be. And you have enough energy to do this for yourself and others, but somehow you need to be nourished back. And I'm not quite sure, based on the tonality and frequency in your voice, that this partnership is feeding you and nourishing you as much as you need to be nourished to be that kind of giver. Does that make any sense at all? Do you get
I
that?
don't know why you had to come at me like that, but that's so true.
I'm sorry, a little bit, not too sorry.
Spot on.
Okay. Jesus Christ. I'm good at this, huh? I love this job. So, figuring out what your actual dream come true is. This is recorded if you want it so that you can, oh, if you need it, I'll give it to you so that you can figure out what just happened. Figuring out what is your dream come true. Like, we need to create a vision for you so that you can make healthy decisions about all of the following things that are in your best interest for the long run. And there's, figure out what are your values. Figure out, I have a confidence assessment. What aspect of your life do you got this going on? And which aspects of your life do you actually need to reach out and get some support in? Clear the mind clutter, both of you darlings. And then as I was going through that exercise, define the roles of who you used to be, who you are now, and who you would like to step into. So Stephen, in your mind's eye, that's what I want you to be envisioning. Who would you like to step into becoming? You have one precious life. I have seen life in fast forward. My late husband got cancer at 39, died at 44. This was far too early. We had a lot of living more to do. But so what we did do was we made sure that that precious life was lived as fully as possible. So what I know is live life fully and make sure it's really good and juicy and delicious the whole way, even the hard stuff. Okay. Both of you need to build an advisory board of people who you know, trust, and love, who can support you emotionally, who are subject matter experts, who are accountability partners, who would leverage their success for you. Putting together an idea of, I walk people through how to protect what's valuable. That's not just assets. It's, the kids, it's your future, it's all the things. It's all about life in reverse, making sure that your impact on the planet makes the difference. Assessing health and self-care. And then I'm all about recalibrating relationships. Who means what to you and who's pulling your energy and who nourishes you? And are there people you should be pushing further out on this relationship? I use the word relationship spiral in two ways. I need another word, but the circle of relationships, or are there people you need to bring in to support your success at this time? What's going on with your career, revenue, and resources? And when you have all of those things set up, then it's easy to have fun. You have the confidence enough to relax and laugh and just, suddenly you'll be like, I got this going on. I'm going to go learn how to play golf. I have 3 hours of golf experience under my belt. I'm a 3-hour pro. But those are some of the things to consider, and putting those together in, to be a life coach. I could talk for a year about that, but understanding where someone is at and knowing how to help move them through pain to get to an ideal place. That I think is what you're asking about the life coach. Because Charlie, you're asking me about, well, each of you are asking me about 10 different things. We're talking about career, revenue, and resource, both of you. We're talking about relationshiping in such a way that you're supporting one another and that you are so attractive that your partner wants to come to you, as opposed to you doing all the work and or you feeling anxious that she might leave the scenario. Balance and boundaries. Charlie, you've established a relationship with your boyfriend. Is that what? I didn't give him a title, sorry. So if
Yeah,
I said
that's
the
fine.
wrong one, sorry. So it sounds like he now relies on you to take the lead in the relationship. It is your job to set the expectations of what is acceptable, what are the minimum job requirements, and can he meet them? And if he can't, what are we going to do about it? Do we give him the skills? Does he want to do it? Does he have the value, the core value that he wants to work together with you on this relationship? Because if he does, then you're 9/10 of the way there. So what else can I answer for you? And then I'll hit back to Steve and give him some high level stuff.
That was pretty intense. That's a lot of information. I would love to read the book because I feel like it would be very insightful. You gave me an objective perspective that I hadn't heard yet in all of the sessions I've gone to before this. So I do appreciate that, and I'm going to think about that. And at this point, I don't have any questions, but I would love to follow up at another time for sure.
I'd be happy to do that with you, of course. So when we're done with this, we'll exchange information or go to, well, here's how you can get a copy of this book all by yourself. Go to yourlifeworthliving.org. I feel like I'm making a plug for myself. Yourlifeworthliving.org, and you can download a copy of that whenever you'd like. And you can also put time on my calendar there. It's this, my website's kind of weird. You have to like scroll down on the right side. It's like super fancy. Nobody needs anything that fancy. I don't know how it got like that. The guys who designed it were like, "Ooh, we could do this for you." So get a copy of the book, scroll down on the right side. You can put time on my calendar. I'm happy to spend time with you. And or after this, we can figure out a time. Okay. So I think, Charlie, I just gave you like 8 weeks worth of stuff really fast. So I'm happy to support you. Stephen.
Yes.
Here's my instinct for you. We only have a few more minutes. Here's my instinct for you. My guidance for you is this: figure out what you want in life, become who. So the next question, and I said, think about this. Who would you like to step into becoming? So I'll just go ahead and ask you, who would you like to step into becoming? Say it out loud so you can hear it.
I'd like to step into being a more confident person. I'd like to become the provider again rather than her being the sole provider. I feel like my place was taken when that happened.
Yeah. What else? Who else would you like to be?
I'd like to be a more loving person. I know I've not been the greatest a lover, and I've sold all my video games, so I don't have them distracting me anymore. I would like to become a better father as well and spend more time with the kids.
Okay, those are all totally doable things. Because the time is short, I'm just going to cut right to the chase. You have to start believing in you by taking care of you first. I'll tell you, there is not going to be anything more attractive than a hot guy who I'm already engaged to, who's one, taking care of himself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, like, So what I see is you're playing the part of the victim. This happened to me. I hated the job. They could not hear my voice when I was saying something so important. They might have taken that information, sent it through the mill, and then maybe they responded to it once they authorized it. Your voice has not been heard. So you're feeling invisible. I'm just throwing this on you. I'm sorry. But this is what I'm getting from you. And as a result, you're retreating, but all the texts to your fiance aren't actually going to make the difference. What we need to do is give you the inner voice that is inspirational of where you add value. When you know where you add value, then we'll give you tools to play with the kids. Your kids are all young, or the other two are older?
2, 4, and 6.
Okay, so you're at Sad, Mad, Glad. I'll give you something to do with them today. Every evening when they go to bed, they're going to want to stay up later, and they'll ask you to read a story. And you say, would you like to play a game? And they go, well, yes, I could totally stay up later with a game. And then you go, okay, one at a time. Did anything make you sad today? And they each get to talk. Do not respond. Don't say anything at all. Zip it. Let them say whatever. And this has to be all the time. You can't interject. Give them a voice, because you know what it's like to not be heard. Did anything make you mad today? Let them talk. Did anything make you glad today? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Okay, next kid's turn. So they're going to tell you what's going on with them because they're going to want to stay up. Then you invite them to ask those prompts to you. Did anything make me sad today? Well, it made me sad when, in my case, when my kids were little, it made me sad when you dropped a book on your brother's head. But do not berate, don't parent, don't anything. Just you're showing them that that caused sadness in the parent. It made me mad when somebody blah, 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 blah. And it made me glad when I saw the two of you working together because you took your plates off the table and brought them into the sink so we could wash the dishes after dinner. That made me glad. So do you see how a simple exercise like that gives you an opportunity to show your values as a parent? And you can,
Yeah,
okay, so I have 100,000 things like that so that you can connect in such a way that you'll be a parent to your children so that they will come to you for guidance and advice rather than getting caught in risky and dangerous behaviors, which it's harder to come back from that. And I've helped people through that too. Okay, so that's you and the kids. The being a better provider. I literally think if you've got even a minute right now, I don't think that anything you do for the next month or two is going to necessarily change the attraction happening at work, this sideshow going on. But if you can start while you're at home, take this as a gift. Start exercising. I mean, do yoga. If, find something that you can do that's within your limitations. Talk to your healthcare provider and find out what you can do. Oh, wait. So that your body is in balance and you start to feel good about you. It will literally take 3 weeks. If you really put intention into this, consider what you're nourishing yourself with. Because I actually think that your health is the first thing you need to address. Because when you start feeling good about yourself physically, and you have large motor skills, like go for a walk. I don't know if you bike ride or whatever, or take the kids to the park and literally play with them in the park. Play tag, do something that is using your physical self. 3 categories: large motor skills, fine motor skills would be Legos. Totally get into Legos with the kids. I have a fan who just walked in with the dog who's like, yeah, Legos. Or drawing or musical instrument. You're a math guy, so you can probably pick up music if you haven't already.
It was controller with the games, but we had to let that one go.
So using the screen, you decided that's not the option. That's fine. But there are plenty of ways to use fine motor skills. Take the beans from the bag and count them with the kids, start doing letters with them. They're old enough to play with letters and numbers. All the manipulatives that little kids play with are perfect. Those are all fine motor skills. And intellectual pursuits. You're a very intellectual man. You've done some really intellectual things. Find something that stimulates you and your brain. When you have more confidence in yourself physically, then you're going to start moving out of pain going, and Allison's going to be like, wow, you're kind of fascinating all of a sudden. You've been playing with the kids and I want to play with the kids. And, oh, you made dinner? Yeah, start cooking really healthy, nutritious meals that are inexpensive. Make a difference in your own life. You do not have to be a victim because you got laid off from a job you didn't like, from a job you didn't like. You liked the customer facing things because you're relationship oriented. Liked interacting with people. That's what I got from you. Am I right or am I way off?
I still interacted with people at work. It wasn't that. It was the drive and the loss of time, and it seemed like they didn't care that I was losing the family time up there.
They don't care. No, it's not their
Yeah.
job to care. You agreed to do a job in a specific location. It's your responsibility to show up and show up. I have one rule with my employees, and that is show up. And I've been managing people for 35 years. And that was my second book, New Management Blueprint. Spark talent to ignite winning teams to creating valuable results. So show up with Allison, show up physically, emotionally, ready to do the job of partner and lover. And that's how you have good sex, by the way. Tantric sex teachers will tell you, you want the gratitude sandwich. First, I'm going to tell you how to have good sex with Allison. She's going to be surprised if this suddenly happens. So take it one step at a time. Start with some eye gazing. Look at her as if you've seen her for the first time and acknowledge how beautiful she truly is. I mean, she's going to think that you found something, if you're just like, wow, you are gorgeous. You fill my senses. You are the most beautiful woman. I'm so glad that we get to be together. Then just and some couples don't spend that kind of time together, but eye gazing is absolutely the windows of the soul. You can find out a lot of what's going on by just gazing into your lover's eyes. Law of attraction, come closer. Close the distance between you physically. Smell her, and smell really good when you do this. Whisper a little bit to invite her in a little closer. Then ask a question or show, express something so that you can invite, and you can do this really, it doesn't have to be sexual. I don't know how sexual you guys are at this moment, but you can do it in a way of, would you be willing to hold this for me for a moment? Like, all you need to do is, can you hold this for a moment? Or please pass the salt. See if you can touch her skin when you receive the salt shaker, and then show gratitude for that gift. Thank you so much. And she's going to be like, what has happened to you? You're seeing me, you're smelling me, you're hearing me, you're appreciating me, and you're taking care of yourself. Then we need to get you a job where you are getting paid what your value truly is. And these jobs that you've been telling me about, you're out of alignment for. You're an intellectual person. I think are you doing something with some physicality to it? Because I do think you're a kinesthetic learner. That's my instinct. Something where you're very engaged, and you need to get your brain involved because your brain's not getting used and your body's not getting used.
That might be another hour-long situation.
That's okay too. All right. So our time is up. Did I help you here?
Yes, very much.
Would either of you be willing? I'm going to stop the recording. So thank you for joining us with the He Said, She Said on relationshiping in every aspect of your life. I'm Michelle Hoffman. I will see you next week.